What are the mechanics that is used to control the car and which part of the body is used to control them? Today, we are looking at the vehicle controls. These are simply the mechanisms which are used by the driver to control the car, and that is how he is able to control the car efficiently and safely. These controls can be divided into two. We have the primary controls and the secondary controls. The primary controls include one, our accelerator. As a driver, it is the accelerator that you use to increase the speed from the lower point of the selected gear towards the higher point. So, for example, if I select gear 1, it is with the accelerator that I'm going to increase the speed from 0 to the 20. So it's what we use to increase the speed, and it's also called the gas. So anytime you want to increase your speed within the gear you have selected, you apply pressure to the accelerator. Then we have our brake. The brake is what is used to reduce the speed of the car to a stop. So when you are driving, if you want to stop your car or reduce your speed, you remove your leg from the accelerator and step on the brake pedal, which you must do gently to ensure smooth stopping without causing discomfort to the occupant of the vehicle. But under some circumstances, you may be forced to slam the brakes. That is when somebody crosses you suddenly, then you have no time to be doing a smooth braking, but you have to apply your brakes as quickly as you can to stop the car to prevent you from crashing. And to control both the brake and the accelerator, we use our right leg. So the right leg is reserved for controlling both the brake and the accelerator. Then we have what we call the clutch pedal. The clutch pedal is what is used to hold the engine power and to allow you to change your gear freely, and also to enable you to stop in traffic without the engine going off. But the clutch pedal is associated with only the manual cars or the manual transmission. You will not find a clutch pedal in an automatic car. With the clutch pedal, it is controlled by the left leg. So your left leg is reserved for controlling the clutch pedal. So what it means is that in driving a manual vehicle, you need both your right leg and your left leg, whereby your right leg will control both the brake and the accelerator. Because you see, you cannot be braking and accelerating at the same time. It's either you are braking or you are accelerating. So if you want to brake, you move your leg from the accelerator pedal to step on the brake pedal. And you want to brake, you move your leg from the brake pedal to step on the accelerator pedal. So in an automatic car, we only use the right leg to drive the car. When you are driving an automatic car, you only use your right leg. But in the case of a manual vehicle, the right is still used for the brake and the accelerator. But because there is a clutch, then you will need your left leg to operate the clutch. Because there are times that you operate the clutch together with the brake pedal. For example, as I said, if you want to stop without the engine going off, you need to apply both the clutch and the brake. So when you enter a car, the first pedal you see, that is the pedal to your left, is what we call the clutch pedal. That is if it's a manual car. Then the pedal in the middle is what we call the brake pedal. And the pedal to your right is what we call the accelerator pedal. But in an automatic car, you have the brake to the left and the accelerator to the right. Okay, another control we have is the steering wheel. The steering wheel is what is used to control the direction at which or with which you want the car to move. So if you want the car to turn to the right, you turn your steering wheel to the right. If you want to turn to the left, you turn your steering wheel to the left. If you maintain it straight, the car will keep going straight. So that is the function of the steering wheel to determine where you want the car to turn. The steering wheel must be controlled with both hands. As a driver, you must always have your two hands on the steering wheel. It is not accepted to be using one hand. The only time you can use one hand to control your steering wheel is when you have to change your gears. Then you can remove your right hand, change the gear, and return it back onto the steering wheel. There are two positions at which you can hold your steering wheel. We have what we call the quarter to three steering position or 3 and 9 steering position. We assume the steering wheel is a clock. So if the steering wheel is a clock, you put one hand on where 9 will be and the other hand on where 3 will be. So you hold it halfway and you drive it from there. And then we have the 10 to 2 steering position, whereby you put one hand on 2 and another hand on where 10 will be and drive it from there. But the recommended steering position for especially learners is the quarter to 3 or the 3 to 9 steering position. That is the recommended steering position for learners. Then we have what we call the gear lever or the gear selector. What the gear lever does is it enables you to determine the speed range at which you want your car to move. And the gear lever can also help you to determine the direction, that is, whether the car should go forward or to move backwards. That is the work of the gear lever. Then we have gear lever for manual vehicles and gear lever for automatic vehicles. With the gear lever for manual vehicles, they mostly have 6 gears, even though the bigger cars and some cars may have more than 6 gears. With the normal cars that have 6 gears, 5 of the gears are meant for moving forward, and the 6th gear is meant for going backwards or reverse. So when you select gear 1, it is for driving between a speed range of 0 to 20 kilometers per hour. But if you still need more speed, you move to gear 2, which allows you a speed range of 20 to 40 kilometers per hour. If you still need more speed, you go to gear 3, which will allow you to move at a speed of between 40 to 60 kilometers per hour. The road, if it's more straight and there are avenues, then you go to gear 4, which will help you to drive between a speed range of 60 to 100 kilometers per hour. If you need more speed, you move it to gear 5, which allows you to drive at a speed of 100 kilometers and above. That is, it is 100 kilometers up to the speed limit of the car. So depending on your car you are using, the speed limit can be 120, 180, 200, depending on the car you are using. So it is the gear 5 which will give you access to those speed limits. And as I said earlier, when you select the gear, it is the accelerator that will move the speed of the car from the lower limit of the gear towards the higher limit of the gear. In the case of the automatic vehicle, it's quite simple. We have our P for parking. So when you stop the car and you want to leave, you shift your gear to P. Then we have our R for reverse. So if you want to move backwards, you select your R, which means you want to you shift it to the R. Then we have our N for neutral. If you want to, let's say in an emergency, you need to push the car or start the car, then you select your neutral. Then we have the D for drive, which is meant to move forward or to drive on. And with the automatic, once you select the drive, all you have to do is to be applying pressure to the accelerator. So the accelerator, the more you accelerate, the car on its own will detect the speed and use it to change the gears for you. But the engineers realize that there are some situations whereby the speed of the car may go higher than what you require because the D has the full range of the car speed. So in some cars, you have D1 and D2, whereby it's a way of the engineers limiting the speed of the car. But if, let's say, you are in a place where the road is not good, you want to make sure that the car doesn't move so fast to cause you to be crashing into the potholes or something, then in some cars, we have what we call the L, which means lower speed or low speed. So when you want to go low speed, you shift it to the L. So these are the things of the automatic vehicle, the various gears of the automatic vehicles that you can select as a driver. Then we have what we call the secondary controls. These include our handbrake or emergency brake. So when as a driver you get down from your car or you park and you have intention of getting down, you have to pull your handbrake or the emergency brake, which will make sure that the car will remain at a static position and prevent it from moving whilst you are not seated in the car. What we realize is that those who have been around for some time, the drivers, especially the commercial drivers, the mate used to carry something we call the chalk. When the car stops, the mate will run and go and put it under it, or they'll put a stone under it to make sure that the car will not move whilst the driver is not sitting in the car. But the engineers realized how uncomfortable this was. That is what led to the invention of the handbrake or the emergency brake. So when you are getting down from the car, you pull it up. Once you pull it up, something comes to grip the two back tires and it will not allow the car to move until you put it down. So for example, you can see that somebody has parked a car on a hill and the car is still there and it's not moving. It's because he has engaged the handbrake, and in some situations too, he may have helped the handbrake by engaging the parking brake. So those two will add as a limiting measure to prevent the car from moving whilst you are not seated in the car. But there are some cars that it is not operated by hand. That's why sometimes it is deceiving to call it the handbrake. In some cars, it's actually a foot operated. That is when you want to get down from the car, the parking brake is actually a foot pedal. So you just step on it and the car engages. When you want to drive, you step on it again and it disengages. So that is why sometimes calling it the handbrake is sometimes deceptive. Then also we have what we call the hazard light control switch. What the hazard light control switch does it causes all the four blinking lights on the car to blink at the same time. The traffic indicator lights, when you press on the hazard light control switch, all of them blink at the same time. And we do that to signal that there is a danger either with your vehicle or on the road. If you put on the hazard light control switch permanently, what you are communicating is that there is a danger with my car. Either my car is faulty so I can't move fast, or I need to take somebody to a hospital. I have an emergency which has to do with my car. But if you are driving and you put it at a short interval and you put it on, you put it at a short time, you put it off. If you do that, you are signaling the cars behind you is that I have seen a danger on the road, so you must watch out for that danger. So if you put it for a short time and you put it off, a signal that the danger is not with your car, but it's rather on the road itself. Then we have what we call the exterior light control switch. The exterior light control switch in most cars is found on the left-hand side of the steering wheel. And what the exterior light control switch is used to do is that it is used to control all the lights which are outside of the car. So for example, if I intend to turn to my right, what I have to do is that I have to push my exterior light control switch up. Once I push it up, the blinking light on my right hand side will start blinking to determine or to tell other road users that I intend to make a right turn. Then if I finish turning, I have to bring it back to the middle, then the light will go off. But in some cars, once you finish turning, the exterior light control switch will come back to the middle on its own. But if it doesn't come back, then as a driver, you have to bring it back. Then if I intend to turn to the left, I push it down. Once I push it down, the blinking light on my left-hand side will start blinking to indicate that I want to make a left turn. If I finish, I bring it back. Then the exterior light control switch also have a tip that you can actually turn without turning the whole stick. And if you turn the tip, what you are doing is that you are causing the big light, the headlight of the car, to come on. And most cars, the headlight has 3 points. If you turn it once, you have what we call the parking light. So you see the headlight come on, but no rail will throw out of it. So it can't reflect on the road for you. And we normally use that when you have parked the car at a place which is risky and you want other people to see that your car is there so they don't drive into it. And what the parking light does is that it helps for your light not to throw into the eyes of other people because you are not moving, you are static. So if you make your light that bright, it will throw into the eyes of people. So in that situation, you put your light at parking. Then we have the low beam or the dip light. What that one does is it is used to drive in traffic, that is in areas where there are other cars, there are other drivers. So that one, because the light is low, you can be able to drive alongside other drivers without obstructing their view. Then we have the high beam or the full beam. When you put the car on that, it is used mostly when you are alone in a dark area where there are no cars. But if you put your car on a high beam, immediately you are approaching other drivers, you must bring it down to avoid your life from blinding the other driver. So you must bring down your high beam. So this is what we use the exterior light control switch to do. In some cars, we also have what we call the fog light control switch. So if you want to turn on your fog light, you press on the fog light control switch and it comes on. But what is the fog lights? The fog lights are actually used to be able to penetrate through a hazy weather so that if the oncoming vehicle cannot see your vehicle, at least he will see those two rails of light and that will tell him that there is a car coming. So we use it during bad weather condition where visibility is poor. Then you resort to your fog light. Then we have our wiper and washer control switch. In most cars, the wiper and the washer control switch are located at the right-hand side of the steering wheel. And what it does is that it's used to control the wiper, which cleans the screen for you. So for example, when it's raining, you activate the wiper control switch so it cleans the screen for you. So if you push it up only one, what happens is that it will rise up, clean the screen, go and lie down, rise up again, clean the screen, go and lie down. What it means is that it will move very slow. If you push it the second time, it will now go and come. But if you want more speed, you push it the third time, then it will now be going and coming, going and coming. So depending on the speed you want, you keep pushing it up. But in some few cars, you have to rather bring it down. So when you get your car, you have to try whether yours go up or it comes down. Then maybe the car is dusty. You are in a dusty road, so your glass has become dirty. Then we have what we call the washer fluid. But with this washer fluid, as a driver, you would have to put it there. It is not there on its own. There is a reservoir in the bonnet, which as a driver, you have to fill. So when you need it, you push the wiper control and it will cause the water to pump onto the glass. Then you can use your wiper to clean it. So that is their work. But for some cars too, they have a back wiper or a rear wiper which cleans the back screen also for them. Then we have the heater or the ventilation control switch, which is used to control the temperature within the car. So for instance, if the weather is too cold, you activate the heater, which will warm the car for you. But if the weather is too hot, then you activate the air condition, which will cool the car and make sure you have good temperature within the car. Then we also have what we call the demister. The function of the demister is to clear fog from forming in the glasses or from forming in the windscreens. So once you activate the demister, it ensures that even though it is raining, your glass will not fog up because once the glass fog up, it will impede your vision. So both the front glass and the back glass, we have demisters, which helps to keep them clean so that they are not affected. Then we have your horn. What the horn does is it alerts other drivers to your presence. Not only drivers, other road users to your presence. So when let's say